Good morning, guys. I will give you a few seconds to hop on. I know that it takes a while to find the live feed and to find your way to the video. Today we are going to talk about a little different subject matter, which is relationships, personal relationships, specifically my marriage, which I've never talked about in a live video before. So this will be good. I posted yesterday about the fact that my husband went to go work out late at night yesterday. And he does that pretty frequently. So he works all day during the day, and when he gets home, he's usually home for about 20-30 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, maybe an hour. And he'll help me get the baby ready to go to bed, and he'll usually eat dinner and he'll wait a bit. And then, it's maybe longer than that, maybe like an hour, hour and a half. And then he will get himself ready and go to the gym at night. And I've mentioned before, if you follow any of my posts on my social media, then you know that my husband and I don't have an awful lot of time together. I work outside of the home on the weekends, and he works outside of the home on the weekdays. So we basically switch off watching our son, and that really limits the amount of time that we get to spend with each other. And consequently, when he gets home, or when my work time for my business is late at night when my son goes to sleep. So that's about the time when he's home, and that's really the time that I dedicate to working my business. So I am up from about 8 to 11 p.m. just doing training or content creation or sending messages or whatever. That's what I do at that time. So we are very limited on the time that we get to spend with each other. And then during that time, not every day, but like every other day, we'll go to the gym and spend about an hour, maybe a little bit more than an hour there, and come home. And yesterday when he came home, he was making Shakeology, and he looked at me and he said, it feels so good to move. I'm so glad that, I'm working out again, because he used to for years very consistently, and then he stopped. And since I've become a coach and I work out 6 days a week on average, he's like slowly found his way back to that routine. And he was so grateful that he had picked that up again and that he was finding his way back to that. And so that's what we talked about yesterday. And I posted on Facebook that, that's something that I never give him grief about, is going out to the gym and spending an hour by himself doing whatever he wants to do to take care of his temple, of his body. And I think I've learned this really the hard way. I have been in very codependent relationships, not like knowingly in codependent relationships, but just that was the way that the relationship went. And I was under the false impression that you needed to spend as much time as possible with this other person, or else your relationship would fall apart. I didn't really understand the significance of giving space to the other person to pursue things that they loved and that take care of them. And as a result, I had a lot of very unhappy, unfulfilling relationships, and obviously ended terribly. But having a child, I think, has put so much into perspective for me personally, where I realize the value of having time to oneself, to care for oneself. And for me, after I became a mother and I was really strapped for time to be a person, like I had to be a mom and I had to take care of a home and then I had to be a wife, but taking care of me became almost like non-existent. I really began to understand the value of self-care in that moment when it was very, very, very absent. And when I was becoming more bitter and resentful being home postpartum, I also had horrible postpartum depression and anxiety, so it's probably part of that. And then I would leave to like go get a massage or something. I would come back and I would feel so much better and so much more refreshed as a result of that. And my relationship with my husband was better, and my relationship to my son was better, and everything just felt lighter because I had spent that time taking care of me. So I've really learned to appreciate that. And because I'm now a health and fitness coach and I work out almost every single day, and I know what that's done for my body and for my mind and for my mindset, I always encourage him to take the time to take care of himself. I never try to make him stay or convince him not to go or whatever. I always encourage that he takes that time for himself because I see the impact, the difference that has on his self-esteem and on his energy when he spends time taking care of himself, and then he can come home and he feels like he worked out his body, he got his anxiety or his tension out, he feels better about himself, the way he looks at himself is different. I can just tell that it makes him happy to take care of his body. And ultimately, for me, the one thing about our marriage that I think has been one of the dominant reasons why it's been so happy, or our relationship, not just our marriage, but our relationship in general since we've started dating, has been the genuine desire to see the other person be happy. The genuine desire to see the other person take care of themselves. The genuine desire to want the other person to be in an excellent place within themselves, so that they feel confident and comfortable and successful and fulfilled with whatever it is that they're doing. And I have a lot of clients who are much older and have been married 29, 30, 40 years. And we have a very good relationship. And one of the things I've asked them is, what is the secret to a long, happy marriage? Because they happen to be in very happy marriages. It's not just like they've been married for 40, 30 years, but they're very happy. And it always comes down to that, like never stop communicating is something that one of my clients told me. Always put God first in your relationship was something else that I was told. And just always try to make each other's lives better. And that really stuck with me because that's something that I've learned from personal experience. Always encourage the other person's life to be better. Even if that means taking time away from you guys together, sometimes that's important and necessary. Like even in our marriage right now, we have a son who's 9 months old, and our life revolves around our kid. I mean, there's just so much that has to happen to take care of him, and with his work schedule, which is really hectic, and I'm running a business from home, which takes a lot of my time in the evening because it's the only time I can really concentrate uninterrupted. There's really limited time for us, but the time we do spend together is very intentional and very deliberate. And when we want to do things to take care of ourselves, the other person always encourages that. And I think that's super, super important. If you are in a place in your relationship or you are looking for a relationship because you've had a long history of codependent relationships and relationships where you feel like there's always a struggle for time or like you're not getting what you want out of that relationship, the number one thing that I can share with you guys is that the essential core of a happy relationship, the essential core of a happy, fulfilling marriage is wanting to see the other person happy, no matter what. No matter if that means that you are not going to get something that you want. Okay? And to me, that's maturity. Maturity is being able to put aside something that you want or that you're attached to so that you can see someone that you care about have something that they really need or really want in their lives. And it's not always about sidestepping your personal desires, right? Like, obviously what you want matters, and spending time with your partner matters. But it's really, really important that your partner feels happy with who they are and where they are. Because if they do not feel happy with themselves, they will not be happy in your relationship. And as a result, you will not be happy because you will feel the dissonance in your relationship to that person. So really, really, really think about this in your own life and how you've either not done this or how you could do this better in your relationship. To really take a step back and put your own desires aside and think about what would make my partner happy, or how could I encourage my partner so that they feel fulfilled in their own skin, in their own bodies, in their own life, And in that way, bring greater happiness into the relationship. Because you guys as a couple are only going to be as happy as you guys are as individuals. Let me repeat that again. You guys as a couple are only going to be as happy as you guys are as individuals. And I think that is something that is missed far too often when people think about their relationships and the quality of their relationships. You guys cannot be happier together than you are apart. You have to be equally happy in both situations. So whatever activities in our lives, for example, fitness is one of those. Fitness really greatly impacts how we feel about ourselves and how we feel in our bodies. Naturally, exercising releases endorphins. It releases a positive feeling in your body, so it makes you happier by nature. And we bring that into our relationship. We are better in our relationship when we are taking care of ourselves and being active and involved in fitness. For us, that's super, super true. We both really, really care about health and fitness, and that's like a really big part of our lives. So when we're not being active in that, it really takes a toll on ourselves and it takes a toll on our marriage. So whatever that is for you in your relationship, whatever that is that would make your partner happier as an individual, just ask yourself how you can encourage that more. Because the more life you breathe into your partner, the more enthusiasm and encouragement you breathe into your partner, the more they will breathe that into your relationship. But it has to be you giving first, you encouraging first, because that's really the magic of love, right? You give love because you want to, not because you're expecting anything in return. And if you are already misstepping in that relationship, it's all about selfless giving. And the more selfless you are, the happier you will be in your relationship. So really encourage each other, build each other up. Don't try to take each other's joy, because that will wipe out the joy in your relationship. All right? So be good to each other. Have a great Tuesday morning. Love you guys. Thanks for hopping on.